focus. Oh God! Damn it! Woo! All right, initial thoughts on the Pint X. We rode it last week with the stock tire on it. We had a lot of fun. We took it to the skate park. We did some things. It was very zippy and fun, but honestly, what we really wanted to test out was trails with this thing. Because if this is a possibility to replace an XR, potentially, we need to know this.
So we're at 97% right now.
Okay.
So we've got this board here, which is the Pint X. I just threw a treaded tire on there. I think this thing's getting real close to being the ultimate setup. So I got the Cushnug High, the craftandride treaded tire, and then I upgraded the grip tape in the front too. Alright, so we just completed the first little section with the Pint X with the treaded tire. My initial thoughts are I like it a lot. This is a park that I ride regularly, and there's a lot of areas on my XR where I'll surge, going up very slight hills. I didn't feel any of that on the Pint X so far. My one complaint about the Pint X is the foot pads. The front foot pad is a little bit too small, but I put some new grip on it and it made it a lot better. My foot wasn't shifting around too much.
I do love the foot pad size of the XR, and that was, going up the hills with this, I could feel the power, but I was still a little bit unstable compared to the XR. But this Pint X with this treaded tire rips the trails, no problem.
That hill, what the hell? Usually where I would be going up a hill on an XR and kind of surging and just feel like kind of moving my weight a little bit to help the board get up the hill, I don't have to do this on this thing. Maybe because it's smaller and my feet are already a little bit closer, but it just feels super snappy. It just crushes up them like it's nobody's business. So that is something I really enjoy, and I really hope that transfers over into the new GT that's coming out here very soon. Yeah, okay. What's the battery on this one, do we know? Okay, that is a full battery. We had a full battery on the Pint. Literally, that felt like a struggle getting up this super steep hill, whereas the Pint just crushed this. There was a point where I was pushing the Pint really hard and I felt it surge for a second. I did the same thing on the XR, and hopefully Luke got it, and it looks like my whole nose almost just hit the ground doing it. So, that thing's torquey. We had Luke and Kyle and myself kind of ride it around. We did some tests as far as going uphill, downhill at speed, bonks, things like that. And all I can say is that I'm super impressed with what this thing is actually capable of.
Definitely liked the smaller package of the Pint. It is still a possibility to run out of battery when you're riding trails, and carrying this back to the car, hiking with it, would definitely not be as bad as my XR with a JW battery in it. So that's definitely an advantage. Even just riding the trails, going uphill, like bonking up roots uphill you can feel the lightness of the board. It just feels like there's less weight underneath you, and you can really maneuver it around and cruise up the hills.
Another thing I want to talk about quickly is the battery in both of these boards. Both of these were at 100% when we started. This one is now at 72. This one is now at 73. This board went up and down hills multiple times at speed. This thing was just being used to kind of demonstrate a couple sections and going uphill a couple times. But basically this board was being swapped between 3 different people. Bonks, little jumps here and there, going downhill, going uphill. The fact that this thing still has 73% battery kind of blows my mind. We're used to the Pint being able to go on maybe 3-4 miles of trails at most, and this thing basically made it back to the parking lot with an insane amount of battery left. So what are your thoughts on the new Craft and Ride Pint treaded tire?
I love it. I think for me, the main thing is it gives you that stability that you had talked about. The stock Pint tire is just too nimble. I mean, it's a fun tire to rip around on, but there's no way I would ever ride trails on a tire like that. As far as if I'm gonna keep this thing on or not, I think I will. In the future, I'm gonna have the GT with the treaded tire on it, so I might put an extra rad on here, just so I have this as like a street setup, but I'm really impressed with how this thing performed on the trails, and I might just keep it on.
Thank you, Future Motion, for listening and putting a bigger battery in this. Thank you, Future Motion, for giving us a couple more miles per hour, because that was definitely needed in this. All I have to say is that this thing is super fun, and if you have doubts, get one, try it out for yourself, but I'm here to say that this thing's here and it ain't going anywhere.